transformation and partnership with Fintechs, the future. Future generations will never know the unique relationship that these two objects have enjoyed. I'm sure many of us in this room know about it. Our kids definitely would not know. Many industries have undergone dramatic transformation. Many organizations and products have been disrupted. Let's take a look at music. Music started simple, and then it transformed into public. And then it went from public to social. And then came the cassette, which was the coolest thing because you could listen to your music anywhere by yourself. And then came the disc, which again was a very cool discovery. And then it was all wired onto your phone. And then it became all wireless. The need of music was still there, but it evolved, and the technology evolved to address the need. The cassette recorder and the discs disappeared, and it became all wireless. The how versus the what. What do we have now? How do we consume music now? We have Spotify, an innovation driven by the belief that music is social. And music has truly become social. But guess what? It started as social too. Just that our context is different now, and technology has enabled that new experience. The future has almost gone back to the past, but the how has changed. So the need, the what, is the same. People want to consume music socially, just as the how has changed. It's so important to focus on the how to drive digital transformation, and that's where the future lies. In today's world, the how means much more than the what. How we consume product matters much more than actually what the product is. That's where the future lies. Let's look at the transportation industry. Towards the end of the 19th century, a revolutionary new technology was introduced. And like the internet, it would eventually disrupt the economy and the culture. This was the horseless carriage. Unlike today's cars, this machine looked exactly the same as an actual horse carriage. It just did not have a horse. And guess what? It was a big failure. Till an innovator came up with an idea, and he placed a fake horse head on the front of this horseless carriage. And he called it a horseless carriage. And this worked for few people. But no matter how efficient the new carriage was, people wanted to hold on to old ways. Getting people to adopt what we now think of a car was required in a huge mindset shift. While there were many drawbacks with the horseless carriage, people still were comfortable with the horses. The fast-paced world in which we live in today has many processes, business lines, and products that are like a horseless carriage. We are aware of an alternative, but we aren't certain how to make the change ourselves, how to adapt to that change. Imagine owning horses and barns and realizing that they won't be used for transportation anymore. It's scary. A lot of people are scared of artificial intelligence the same way today. Technology changes and the transition can be difficult. And there's so many new technologies emerging all around us, be it facial recognition, be it AI, be it machine learning, be it robotic processing. We are scared, but we must see our business from an outside perspective. Seeing our business and products as our customers would see and experience it would help us drive transformation in digital world and embrace these new technologies. Let's look at the telecommunication industry. America's short-lived cell phone experiment did not lead to the widespread use of mobile phones. It was a niche product that appealed only to a small number of consumers in one city. In fact, Motorola's then director of research, Marty Cooper, who just 8 years earlier had made the world's first phone call by a cell phone, said that cellular phones would absolutely not replace the landlines. Even if you project it beyond a lifetime, it just won't be cheap enough. A customer can't ask for something that they don't know is possible yet. For innovation to work, we have to understand that the customer is not always right. And that's because simply they do not have the right context, the necessary circumstances to describe a better, a simpler future. A customer cannot ask for something that they don't know is possible yet. Just imagine we never complained about the clocks lying on our side table next to our bed for the alarm. We never complained about carrying a camera. We never complained about having a calculator at our desk. Yet all of these things disappeared and everything came to our phones. Which brings me to my next point. Think about the most special person in your life, your mom. Remember this saying that was repeated to us all the time. Don't accept sweet from strangers. Don't take right with strangers. Don't stay in strangers' houses. Moms have been saying this for generations. But guess what? Isn't it time to unlearn everything we have learned? We live in a strange world. We are sharing rides with strangers. Uber. We're welcoming them into the spare rooms in our house. Airbnb. We're dropping off our dogs at their houses. We are entrusting complete strangers with valuable possessions and experiences of our life. Imagine if Airbnb had done a research and asked consumers, would they be okay to have strangers at their house for money? So don't ask customers what they want. If they want some enhancements to an existing product, of course, it's okay to ask the customers what kind of an improvement they're looking for. But the old school traditional way of doing a research and asking the customers what they want and then designing a new product based on it, then spending years to design marketing plans for it and then going to the market. And guess what? By that time, the market and consumers have moved on. So we have to anticipate the design and needs of the product and solutions in the financial services, which is more and more becoming as products and solutions are embedded in consumers' lifestyle. It's just integrated into consumers' lifestyle. So we need to design products and solutions by thinking of a problem that we can solve, how we can simplify the life of our consumers. Which brings me to a key point. Do not ask customers what they want. Solve a problem. Simplify their lives. Make it easy. That's what the future is going to be. Internet may just be a passing fad as no one's give up on it. This appeared as a headline 23 years back in Newsweek because many were skeptical about the information that's available on the internet because the thought was that you cannot filter what is true and what's not true. Guess what? That applies today as well, but where the internet is. It's incredible. There would always be new technologies that we would be so skeptical about. And that's the fast-paced world in which we live in today. With all these technologies coming around us, how do we know which ones are the ones that are going to be successful and would take off in future and their adoption would be great? I know it may not sound very logical, but at times with regards to innovation, you have to follow your gut feel. Let me give you an example. Years back, when I was heading the consumer asset business for an international bank in Poland, the contactless terminal penetration was less than 4%. And we being a market leader in credit cards, I wanted to recard all my cards to contactless. I believe the future is going to be contactless. It's simple, it's easy, it's convenient. But the business case just doesn't stack up with a 4% contactless terminal penetration. And no matter how much I could play with Excel and forecast a longer time horizon, it just won't stack up. But that was my gut feel. And in less than 5 years, Poland became one of the world's largest and most successful contactless market. And the terminals, which were standing at 4% just 5 years back, were 80% contactless. So at times, with regards to innovation, you just have to follow your gut feel and experiment. So is it all about technology? I Googled the word technology, and guess what? It comes from two Greek words, techne, which means art and craft, and logos, which means word and speech. Driving digital transformation isn't about technology or science, but it's an art. an art of creating agility, an art of the leaders exercising humility and curiosity and asking why. There's no science behind it and there is no formula. And what is disruption? All of us talking about the disruption that's happening by fintechs today in the financial services world and the disruption that would continue to happen and redefine our future. Disruption comes from two Latin words, meaning break apart. Break from what? Break from old ways of thinking, break from old way of looking at things. The future belongs to those who are curious, humble, and who ask why. Which brings me to the last part of my presentation, a story by my favorite author, Paulo Coelho, who talks about a very different story, but he drives home a very important point about the future and the digital transformation. A Zen Buddhist had a cat who he loved very much. So during meditation, he kept the cat next to him. He passed away and his disciple took his place, and as a tribute to his master, he allowed the cat to attend the session. And as people from other regions came, they saw the cat and they told other people how the cat was meditating. The cat died and the students found another cat, as they believed the cat was responsible for the meditation that they were able to achieve. A generation passed and people wrote about the importance of cat in meditation. Until a master appeared who was allergic to animal hair, and he asked, "Why is the cat there?" He removed the cat, and professors started writing about a new theory, power of meditation without a cat. Another century passed by and the cat theory disappeared. People were tired of feeding the cats and they started eliminating the cats. Guess what? It took 2,000 years to drive this change because no one asked, why is the cat there? If we have to drive digital transformation, if we have to paint a better, simpler, more inclusive future, we have to challenge the status quo. That's the single most important thing. We have to ask, why does this product exist? We have to ask, why does this process exist? Your ideas may be considered crazy by those who think the cat should always be there, because the cat has always been there. But it's very, very important to surround yourself as a leader with people who challenge the status quo, who would redefine your future, not just by launching new products and services, but by eliminating the ones that are no longer required. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.